think about the Messi thing?
Anything else on the Messi front, Chris, before we move on?
No, I'm done. I'm
falling out. I told you, I never want to bring this guy's name up again.
I don't know, man. This Messi thing is just a freaking mess. What a disaster.
I don't want to hear this name ever again until it's official. But they got me back.
No question about it. I am ready.
Chris, the Herons are back. Welcome, everybody, to episode number 184 of the Battle Herons podcast. I am your host, Daniel Granada, and alongside me, as always, Mr. KBD. How are you doing, sir?
This shirt is probably the next best thing to representing Bryce Duke, right? Everybody was happy to see Bryce Duke score. Am I right or am I right?
You're absolutely wrong. Absolutely wrong.
You're
Nobody
wrong.
wanted to see
You're
that.
wrong. Were you guys happy to see Bryce Duke? Yes or no? Right now?
No,
Let's
not start there. Let's start at the, they got to score 9 goals or I'm going to be unhappy. These are professionals also. They're professionals also. You can't expect Inter Miami to literally score 6 goals every game. So, yeah, go ahead.
No white wall. I mean, Cynical Tube is saying it. No white wall.
Mm-hmm.
And Sarah Jane is saying no. So I guess I'm wrong.
Yeah. Look, I understand that Inter Miami is superior than a lot of teams, but going on the road and expecting them to score 9 or 7 or 6 or 5 every week, I think it's a little ridiculous. And let me tell you something. Most people were gassed because just about everywhere that anybody was giving a prediction, everybody was saying 4+. It was 4, 5, 6. It's not gonna be like that every week. These are professionals also. They're gonna buckle down. They're gonna play a little block, or they're gonna press heavy like they did today. They were on our ass. They were making it very difficult to get the ball, with vertical passes to the front line. So it's not gonna. I'm sure we're gonna have a lot of fun games, but they're not all gonna be like last week.
Well, I mean, it's like what Tariq is mentioning here with the Super Slam. We won, but had a bad game. He's not sure what happened between Red Bulls and today for our performance to dip. He's disappointed Messi didn't score. It would have been another country where he would have scored in. A new country.
I didn't consider that. Well, they still play against Toronto in Toronto, so
yes.
So that's still a possibility. I have a theory as to why they performed poorly today. Now, you tell me what you think. Thank you, Stancy. You tell me what you think. I told you that if Rojas started, I thought it would be for Robert Taylor because I thought that him playing in the midfield would kind of leave Busquets on an island because he's very offensive-minded. Gressel is offensive-minded. Kremaki is offensive-minded. So I felt like everybody's very offensive-minded, so somebody like David Ruiz needs to be in there to kind of cover for Busquets.
Yeah.
Busquets was left out on the island. Now, obviously, we play a high line, so that also takes kind of messes things up a bit. But the fact that we had so many offensive-minded midfielders, like you need that Ruiz to substitute for what we're missing with Gomez and Redondo. And I think that's why we suffer so much in the midfield.
Well, and you're talking about like structural pieces, right? Like I want to bring this up real quick. We were all tired of the 5-3-2, 3-5-2. Now people are tired of the 4-4-2.
I don't know. I thought I saw Rojas playing pretty high. I thought that it was like a free-flowing formation because I felt like Rojas was playing up pretty high also. But regardless, all the midfielders, it could have been 5 midfielders. The only defensive midfielder there was Busquets. And Busquets, one, can't contribute offensively. He can't connect the defense to the offense because he's compromised because everybody that's flanking him is attacking. So I thought I think that was the fail. I think David Ruiz would have been better in the midfield for this game.
But I don't know if you noticed later in the game, actually, Gressel ended up moving from the right wing or right midfield. He actually ended up playing like a little bit above Busquets. Like if he's like the linker between Busquets and Messi or Suarez or something. I noticed that later, especially in the second half, that he ended up coming down. I mean, he ended up coming over to the middle instead of staying over on the right side like he did before. And Alejandro is saying Gressel is as useless as in use perspective, preservative.
I'm not sure what to make of that comment, Alejandro. So I'm sorry, I'm going to just kind of breeze past it because I didn't understand it, but I appreciate the super slam anyway. Gressel, man, when he's in the box, I don't want to say he's useless, right? I'm really trying to take a couple steps back, and I went into today, and we're going to get in like we always do. We go from the very beginning of the game and work our way through the game. But I went into today, and I said, I'm going to act like Gressel is a brand new player, and today's going to be the first time that I watch him play. And, man, like, he just doesn't do it for me. He doesn't. Like, he doesn't progress the ball forward. He makes silly mistakes. He gives the ball up. I mean, and shout out to Solana. I know he was doing a live play-by-play of the game.
Well, I mean, it doesn't help that in the beginning of the game, I think he had a pretty, I don't want to say a golden opportunity, but he had a decent chance, if I remember correctly, in the beginning of the game. So,
all right. Well, let's start at the beginning, Chris.
Let's start at the beginning.
I got you with the formations, or with the lineup.
Well, you got the lineup up because Inter Miami they're pissing me off with this. They're pissing me off with this, guys. I mean, for those of you on audio, Danny put up the starting lineup, and as you could see, it's not structured in the 4-3-3, 4-4-2, whatever the hell you want to see. They're just basically like you connect the dots, guys. So here in goal, we had Calendar. We had the back four with going from left to right. We had Negri, Freire, Christoph, and Weigand. And then in the midfield, we had Busquets above them. And then essentially above him, you had Kremaski, Rojas, Messi, Gressel, and then Suarez up at the top. I don't know if I missed anybody. I don't think I did.
Real quick, Gustavo said, I called it 1-goal victory. I actually posed that question to Chris about the 1-goal victory, and I asked him if he would be happy with the 1-goal victory. Now, everybody in the chat said, I'll take it. Chris said he would be very upset. So before we get into the game, Chris, how upset are you that we only won by 1 goal? Because I asked you, I said, there's a chance that we only win by 1 goal, and I'll take it because it's a win. These are professionals. You're not going to win every game by 9 goals. So you're not happy.
I mean, can't you tell by I'm not the only one that's not happy, Danny. Look to your left.
You're not, but
like, do you not see the chat? They're literally telling you.
No, they're saying that this was a bad game, and it wasn't a good game. It wasn't their best showing. But when a good team wins or finds a way to win, right? It's that sports cliche. A good team finds a way to win. And you're not always going to have great games. Messi, I didn't think he had a bad game, but it wasn't like a messy game, right? Like you like the games that he's had with us this season, it wasn't one of those. It was just a regular game. But you still find a way to win even when Messi's not playing to his GOAT level. Like you can't expect him to do it every single game. I think that's a win. If you can win when Messi has a subpar game, then that's a huge win.
I don't know, Danny. I'm not. I mean, a win's a win. I'm gonna ride the wave with you guys. I'm gonna ride the wave with you, Danny. A win's a win, right? We got our 3 points. We walked away. Oh my God,
we're top of the league.
Yeah, we're top of the league. 3 points.
8
Congratulations.
wins.
We suck.
Only 2 losses.
We played a pretty bad game against
and we still won.
One of the worst teams in the Eastern side. But we won by 3 games. Oh my God. I mean, we got 3 points. Good job. You got to win. Good job.
Would you rather a draw or a loss?
Win. 1 point win. I would have rather wanted 10 goals is what I would have rather wanted. Is that too much to ask for, Danny?
That is too much to ask for.
Is that too much to ask for? No, it's not too much to ask for against the worst team in the Eastern Conference, second to worst team.
And real quick, shout out to Goodman. I think this is the first person that joins us from Russia, at least live. So shout out to you. Appreciate you joining us live from Russia. That's pretty dope. Shout out to you.
Now you can see how wrong Danny is for the first time in your life. Welcome. And
I keep hearing that.
Daimanin says you look like a cello clone. Are you sure you're not his secret brother?
No.
And look, yes, Kevin, yes. You're absolutely correct. I am expecting the performance of New York double because I wanted
is that every game now? Because we play against Orlando, which is a bad team, and we beat them 5-0. So is anything less than 5-0 bad now?
No.
Against Orlando?
But
what about Washington? Washington sucks also. Do we need to beat them 4-0, 5-0?
But we specifically discussed this game was against one of the worst teams defensively and in the standings. Now, Soccer Daddy's mentioning here, if I'm going to be unhappy the rest of the when we play Vancouver, no, I'm not, because that's going to be like a 5-4 game. I guarantee you, because Vancouver puts up points. What, Danny? Okay, go.
Whatever, we'll get into that.
Go.
All right, shout out Tyreek. We appreciate the support. By the way, we are tied second place with Orlando and Chicago for having the worst defense in the Eastern Conference after New England. We let in 12 goals. Not good. I agree. Not good.
Let in 20.
And I'll let Chris start the way he does. He gives us the rundown. Shout out to Vice City Lucas joining us. You go ahead. Start with the rundown, and then we'll start breaking it down because obviously we're going to get into the Pablo. Do not do that, Pablo. Do not gas him up because that's the last thing Chris needs is to have people on his side because he will just start talking crap for the next hour.
But I mean, I'm just spitting facts here, Danny. I don't know what else to tell you. Like, we're literally playing one of the worst teams, and we edged out a win against Bryce Duke and Ariel Lassiter. And
we're playing one of the worst teams, but Messi didn't have one of his best games.
Not enough.
If Messi doesn't have one of his best games, there's a chance that we could draw. And we won anyway, on the road.
LaRuo, I'm just going to mention this clearly, one of the worst teams. Not the worst. One of the.
Chris, you're starting to piss me off. Just start with the fucking rundown.
Let's go, baby. So the rundown... So wait, no, I want to bring the starting lineup because when we bring up the starting lineup, right, we take a look at it and like, what did you think of the people starting, right? We talked about Taylor not starting. That already kind of got me off.
Right. Well, I kind of wanted to get your thoughts on that because actually in the Discord, we were clowning on you because we were clowning on what you were going to say after the show, depending on the results of the game, because of the fact that Robert Taylor wasn't starting. So Robert Taylor not starting, but what surprised me the most was we thought that either Robert Taylor or David Ruiz would not start if Rojas started. We were at no point did we have a conversation about both of them not starting and that Kremaki would get the start. So what did you think about the start?
I mean, obviously I didn't like Taylor not starting. I thought that he should have started. And Peaches is chiming in saying, quote unquote, worst teams isn't a dead set when football doesn't work like that. This is why it is the beautiful game. I'm not saying that any given
you
Sunday
are saying that. You are saying that.
They didn't meet my expectations. Are my expectations a little too much?
Yes.
Maybe. It's debatable.
Tariq, beautiful. What matters is that we still haven't lost with Messi. It still hasn't happened.
It's
this
debatable.
Season and then one time last season when he starts. One time last season. Again, the game didn't count against Charlotte, so we don't even think about that. So good point, Tariq.
It's debatable. And David Reichart, let me tell you something. I got ball knowledge. All right. I got ball knowledge. Don't. Okay. The fact of the matter is that when you have the players that
good job.
Are we done? When you have the players that Inter Miami has, okay, David, this is for you, okay, and you're playing against one of the worst teams, okay, and Danny is going to shoot up the Discord on the chat right now for you, Sujan. But when you're playing against one of the worst defensive teams, we need a bigger gap other than 3-2, okay. And I mean, look, are you guys challenging my ball knowledge? My ball knowledge. Get out. Maybe I shouldn't be so. You know what? You know, and Alejandro saying we won against their B team. I see this as an L. Boom. Baby.
All right. Just real quick, for those of you that were somebody just asked about the Discord, I just put the link on the chat. So if you are not part of the Discord, go ahead and click that link. You can join. And it's not just Inter Miami. It's Inter Miami in Espanol. So we have a Spanish chat also. And we have actually other sports teams. We have chat rooms for, the Heat, the Panthers. We have an EPL. We have a Champions League. We have a La Liga. So Serie A is pretty active with Don Cafecito running the show there because Don Cafecito loves Serie A. So, yeah, go ahead and join the Discord. I put it up in the chat.
And Leroy is mentioning, can I at least admit that Montreal played really well today? They did. Mm-hmm. Like, that's what they're supposed to do. They're supposed to play as best as they can against a great team like Inter Miami. And Stancy is saying, come on, guys. Chris knows his balls. Right? I know my balls. Okay?
All right. So, Chris, back to the starting lineup. What did you think when you saw that Taylor wasn't starting?
So when I saw Taylor wasn't starting, I was a little bit worried, but not too worried because Rojas, I mean, look, in the limited time that he's played with us, he's been playing pretty well. And I mean, obviously, we could tell with the banger that he scored. So what's scary is the fact that we do have someone as good as Rojas that's actually giving Taylor a run for his money. So, I was okay with the starting lineup. I didn't think anything heads or tails about it. I wasn't upset about it at all, really.
I was upset because I thought that Ruiz should have started to kind of give that defensive help to Busquets. And that if somebody was going to leave for Cremaschi to start, it should have been Gressel. That's why at no point that I think Cremaschi will start, because they need Ruiz to help defensively in the midfield. So I thought that the logical thing, if you want to start Cremaschi, would be to replace Gressel with Cremaschi. So that was what frustrated me. The fact that it was the left side that got replaced and Gressel stayed there. But outside of that, I mean, everything, I guess it was as you expected for the starting lineup.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, the starting lineup to me, it wasn't bad to me. I looked at the starting lineup and I said, we're going to be scoring at least 4 goals in the first half.
Mm-hmm.
And that didn't transpire because...
Well, what I was going to say real quick about the formation is that everybody's saying a 4-4-2. I saw it as a 4-1-3-2, right? I thought that Busquets was the only defensive midfielder there, right? It was a back four, Gressel as that lone CDM, and then you had Rojas, Cremaschi, and Gressel with Messi and Suarez up top. I didn't see a 4-4-2. I thought that they left Busquets on an island.
Well, I think I completely agree with that. They did leave him on an island. They didn't give him support. I mean, we're missing players like Diego Gomez. We're missing players, like Redondo. Matias Rojas is not like this defensive guy is mentioning. How do we get rid of Christoph? Any ideas? Nobody will want him for sure. Somebody's going to take him. Somebody. Nashville is knocking on his door. Trust me, guys.
And foreign students saying in the beginning it was a 5-3-2. Okay, I could see that. Busquets was that center, that center back. That's how deep he was playing because again, he was kind of left out on the island. Look, Cremaschi and I'm blanking here. Cremaschi and who else was it? And Rojas aren't necessarily defensive stalwarts. You don't expect them to get back. So maybe I could see a 5-3-2, but a very offensive-minded 5-3-2.
Again, and I'm not trying to sprinkle sugar here. I really mean it when I say that we miss Diego Gomez. Yes.
And for the person that was asking, I think it was Clara, that said about Christoph, you do not have to worry because next week Aviles will be back. The only reason Christoph got this start was because Aviles could not play because of the yellow cards accumulation. So he was suspended for a game.
Yeah. So, I mean, other than that, right, going through the starting lineup, pretty simple. To me, it seemed like it was a pretty decent starting lineup. Is saying, Danny, stop underestimating opponents, man. Montreal played like a beast.
Who did I underestimate? I'm the one telling Chris that he should respect opponents.
I don't respect opponents. I mean, you know obviously.
That. All right, I think we're done with the starting lineup.
So, yeah, we're done with the starting lineup. We start the game, right? I didn't watch consistently, I think, for the first 10 minutes. I think
we didn't give up a goal in the first 10 minutes.
Yeah, we didn't give up a goal in the first 10 minutes. We didn't give up I mean, that's something that we got to look forward to, right? We gave up the first goal, right? The first goal was we gave it up. And
just real quick, whenever we've given up the first goal, we've played how many games now? 11, 13. We've played 13 games. In 10 of those games, we've given up the first goal. Okay? So we've played 13 games. In 10 of those games, we've given up the first goal. And now that off the top of my head, 2 of those games that we didn't give up the first goal were clean sheets against Real Salt Lake and against Orlando. So that means there was only one game in which we scored first that the other team scored. So just about every single game that we get scored on, the other team scores first. But we are 6-2-2 in those games where we give up the first goal.
This is a great comment right here, Danny. It sort of lends itself to what you've been saying about Busquets. Shafayette says the ball supply to the final third was off today. Lucky we got those set pieces and used them. And we're not a team that's typically real solid on set pieces, guys.
Defensively.
No, that we had those.
Okay.
That we scored off a set piece.
Right. But, I mean, we have Messi. We're great on set pieces.
Yeah. Well, I mean, today's it was Messi, I think, had, 2 or 3 set pieces today?
Yeah. I mean, he had an off game today. Game today. And, I mean, we scored on 2 set pieces, right? A corner kick and a free kick.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So now this is a comment that I want to bring up. Mr. Krabs is saying, give Calendar some credit. The game could have easily been 4-0 to Montreal. Listen, you got to give credit to where credit's due. He had a good game. Montreal had a good game. No, you can't do that.
Would you say Drake had a good game? I don't think he had a game as bad as other people have said, maybe. But I wouldn't say he had a good game either. He had a couple good stops. That first goal where Bryce Duke nutmegged him. First of all, Bryce Duke, we talked about it last episode. He's one of the worst finishers I've ever seen in my life. And for him to finish, he finished. Yeah, he nutmegged.
That hurt Drake.
It did. You could see it in his face. But he had a really great save to his left side just a minute or two after that, which was great. He had some good plays. I felt like he was coming out appropriately when the ball would get driven into the box, whether it be a corner kick or a cross. So I think he had a decent game, but I wouldn't say a great game.
Well, the second goal wasn't. That's not his fault. The second goal that got scored on him, to me, it wasn't his fault. But let's go first. 15 minutes, 20 minutes come, and then the first goal where Bryce Duke scored. Right? I mean, that was just a real quick counter. I looked at the replay to try to see who was at fault. If there was any center back or anybody back there that maybe was at fault for opening it up, I think the closest that you could put any sort of blame on would be maybe Freire, because he didn't really step up. But in reality, just looking at everything, it was just a very quick counter that we just couldn't collect ourselves to get back on. And Bryce Duke, unfortunately, which is something that we don't expect, finished right through Calendar's legs. So to me, it just looked like a quick counter, caught us with our pants down, and people are trying to recover quickly, and Freire is the only one that I could kind of pin some blame on that play.
Well, that's why I always say that, look, I know that we play a high line, we keep possession, we pass the ball back quite a bit when we don't have anywhere to go because we're trying to keep possession. I get that. But Kristoff shouldn't be playing so goddamn high if you don't have the pace to get back. I remember we were talking last episode about who would start, and I said I wouldn't mind seeing Noah Allen start at center back, right? He's not bad with the ball at his feet, and he has the pace to get back. Like, would he have stopped that goal? I don't know, but I promise you, he would have been there. He would have gotten back.
Yeah, he would have been. And I just want to put this comment up before the next game comes up. Sahil is asking, are you guys going to Orlando for next game? I won't be going. I'm not sure about Danny.
I considered going. I had somebody that offered me a ticket, but we were going to go on the Bright Line and then head back on the Bright Line. But as it turns out, the Bright Line stops working out. What was it, Chris? It was like 8 or 9 o'clock. 10,
yeah. Oh, yeah. 9.
Yeah, it was early.
Yep.
It was early. I would have had to stay overnight. So unfortunately, that kind of killed it for me. So I was gonna go, but that kind of that right there ruined it. The Bright Line for some reason.
I wish I would have been going to, Lucas, but yeah, unfortunately, I'm not gonna be there.
If it would have been on a Saturday, I would have been there.
Oh, for sure. And Dava Jam, this is, I think, the third or fourth comment that he's mentioned this. We are slow. We get it, Dava.
Yeah,
we
sure.
are slow. Hell yeah, we're slow.
Well, Aviles has more pace than Freire and Christoph. So, and that's why I don't want to be too hard on Drake either, because a professional soccer player, one-on-one against a goalie, they should finish the majority of those times. Now, because it was Bryce Duke, maybe Drake should have stopped it. But, I don't want to blame him too much on that one.
Well, again, just looking at that goal, right? I was happy because I figure we're gonna get scored on first anyway. That's just been the trend, and we'll make a comeback, right? So if anybody's gonna get the goal, at least let it be Duke or Lassiter. That's what I wanted, to be honest. So I was like, inside a little piece of me was like, okay, it's nice. Bryce Duke got a goal against us. Nice. Let's go score like 7 more goals. Come on. And then of course we got the rest of the game. So we get scored on 22nd minute, Bryce Duke. And then later on, we get scored on, I think it was like the 33rd minute or the 32nd minute. And how was the goal, Danny? If you could just remind me, because I really don't remember. I think it was off of a pass. I mean, I'm trying to think back how the goal went.
He was on the left side of the box. He hit it with the outside of his right foot, and then he kind of just hit it to the far post. Drake couldn't get a hand on it. It was a great shot. It was a good shot.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't something that I remembered. And to be honest, who was the player? I think it's a guy named Jules Anthony
Vincent, something like that. I know that they were saying that he is a Montreal kid, like he is a homegrown product. So that's pretty cool. Nice. But that one wasn't on. Drake couldn't have gotten that, unfortunately.
Yeah,
the first one, yeah, but that one he wasn't gonna get.
Yeah, Dennis is saying it was a monster snipe, and then somebody keeps on saying Allen sucks. I mean, Football Kings, look, it's easy to say Allen sucks. I mean, he has Negri and Alba in front of him in his own position. Right, so obviously,
I appreciate you, but I'm gonna have to.
We're gonna have to cut it. We're gonna have to cut it, guy,
because we don't like spammers.
Yeah. So we get it, though. We get it. He sucks. I mean, in that scope, yes.
Look, and to I actually don't think that Allen sucks. So
no, he doesn't suck. But obviously, if you're comparing him to the current players that are ahead of him in his position, then yeah, I mean, he's not as good as Negri. He's not as good as Alba. I mean, that's pretty obvious. I think a lot of people can agree with that. Yep. So. And look, Marasovic is saying Allen doesn't suck, right? Bluebird is saying Allen is aight. Now, this is what we're going to talk about, Florida Man. Thank you for the reminder. Can we talk about Rojas' banger already?
Okay, let's go. So Messi was forced off the pitch after he got fouled.
Saw that,
he
right?
was laying on the ground, and then
bang with his left foot.
And the new rule. The new rule makes them stay off the pitch for 2 minutes. That's their way of trying to prevent players from wasting time, right? From killing time on the floor, which I kind of like that rule. I know Messi was upset about it, and I mean, I guess in some instances it sucks, but I get the idea, right? You're trying to prevent guys from diving and just wasting time.
Yeah.
So it sucked today, but I like the rule overall. I like the reason that they did it. But he was upset. He said something in the direction of the camera, like this rule isn't good or something like that. But
yeah,
that is the only reason that Matias Rojas got to take that free kick.
Oh,
otherwise, he has absolutely no chance of taking that kick.
What a beauty, though, right? I mean, that was gorgeous. I mean, look, and so many people are here saying, right? And then look, Adarsh is saying Messi was so upset. Alejandro saying Messi wasn't happy. And, we're talking about the 2-minute rule, right? The 2-minute rule, the little hockey rule that they got started. Now, again, like I mentioned, and like you mentioned, if it wasn't because of that, Matias Rojas wouldn't have had his opportunity. And did he take that opportunity and run with it? Because that was a banger. I saw that, and then I thought to myself, oof, this kid's a scorer. This kid's a scorer. You know what it is? Like, he is a center midfielder or like a midfielder or winger, and he is like This is his second full game that he played, Danny. Because the first game, if you really think about it, he only played like 10 minutes.
Messi, what he said to the camera, according to Fabián Requel, he posted it, con este tipo de regla mal vamos. So basically, with this kind of rule, we're heading in the wrong direction, I guess, as a league, I guess, is what he's saying.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, Messi, love you, but I disagree. I hate the one thing I hate about this sport is the amount of diving and wasting of time there is. So they're trying to figure out how to stop it. And unfortunately, this is the way. Now, it sucks when a player is actually injured. But let's be real. There's way more instances when people dive and act like they're hurt than when they're actually hurt.
Absolutely.
So
yeah,
it sucks when a player is actually injured. But there's a lot of times that they're not. And I can't stand when they dive and they just act like they're hurt. And then when their team gets on the ball and they're rushing forward, they stand up and then they're running like nothing happened. Like, it's so frustrating.
Well, now you see, and Marasovic is asking, so you okay punishing the innocent? Now, I'll tell you this much. In Messi's situation, if you look at that replay, he really did. You could tell that he got hurt. You could tell that knee buckled or he got hit on the shin. Like, if he would have dug any deeper, it's a wrap.
Yeah.
It's a wrap. He's getting stretched off. But because he kind of lightened up on the touch, let me tell you, the fact that he is so good with the touch on the ball and that he doesn't need to lunge so hard towards the ball, that I imagine saves him from a lot of crazy injuries.
And Kevin Eugene, no, he didn't say it in English. He said it in Spanish. I just translated it in English. And for the person that said, am I okay with them penalizing the innocent? I'm not. But, like, how else are you going to do it? Like, there's really no other way around it. Unfortunately, you will have instances like today where you get penalized for 2 minutes and it stinks. But I appreciate it if it brings down the amount of diving and fake injuries that happen throughout the games. If it works, and again, this is the first year they do it, maybe they'll see that it doesn't work. But if it at all brings it down a little bit, now if this happens to our players every single game, then maybe it's not working. But I kind of like it. I want them to minimize the diving, and there's only so many ways you can do it.
Yeah, Sahil is mentioning 90% is just diving, so W rule. I mean,
so those 10%, that 10% that isn't diving, it sucks. I understand, and I understand why it's frustrating. But if you're gonna try to change something that happens consistently, you have to do something drastic like that. And 2 minutes is a lot, but like it's not game changing either. Look what happened today. He was off for 2 minutes, and Matias Rojas ended up scoring. So
yeah,
and for everybody saying Messi was really hurt, I agree. I think he was really hurt.
Yes, he was. I think that 30 seconds, because Darcy is saying 30 seconds. I think that's too short. 30 seconds, that's a blink of an eye in soccer.
You know what I would like? I would like for them to go back, and you know how they can like check VAR or whatnot. If after the game they can go back and see if anybody dove and suspend them for a game. Like, I'm okay with that. I'm sure players won't like that. But you want to eliminate diving, suspend them for a game or suspend them for a half. You don't get to play the first half. If you dove the previous game and you have somebody somewhere watching the game's over and boom, you dove here, you dove there, suspend them for half a game or a game. No, it's not too harsh.
Darusha is saying you're dropping the gauntlet.
I hate that thing so much. This is why in America so many people used to hate soccer, because they said all they were is little girls that just dove, and I couldn't argue it. Look at Neymar. Look at Neymar. It became a running joke with Neymar. Like it's such a frustrating thing that's become so normal in this sport. It's just stop fucking diving.
And then Leroy was saying Suarez would play 10 games every season. Let's save this discussion for the.
But Messi would never miss a game because Messi doesn't dive. I wish more people would play like Messi.
Yes. Or like Taylor.
Robert Taylor doesn't dive either.
Yeah, he doesn't dive either. So we get the first score. Matias Rojas, banger, right? We're thinking, okay, that's going to be the last goal of the half. And then we get to a corner where Luis Suarez says, Ariel Lassiter, you're playing defense? Get out of here. Right?
He straight up to sleep. He kind of
leg drops.
He Kevin Nash that thing in.
Yeah, Kevin Nashed it into the back of the net. Says, Ariel Lassiter, who's this guy? Boom, get out. This is my ball. And then just kicks it right.
And that was the game time goal. Let me just backtrack real quick. When we were down 2-0, because I know we always say, like, we're down 1-0, we make it interesting, ha, ha, ha. When we were down 2-0, and chat, please chime in. Was any part of you, when we were down 2-0, thinking, oh, we might lose this, or maybe we'll get a draw? Did you doubt that we were going to win when we were down 2-0? 1-0, I think everybody's like, it's okay, we're used to this. When it went 2-0, and we weren't playing that well overall, I'll tell you before you answer, I thought to myself, like, oh, man, we might have to try to settle for a draw here. Like, we might get 2, but things are looking a little – I started thinking draw, honestly. Look, I thought that we'd lose Tariq said we thought we'd lose 3-1. I at no point did I start thinking win. At that point, when it was that late, it was like the 40th minute, was it? And I was like, oh, man, we might have to try to get a draw because we're not playing very well, and it's 2-0 now.
Well, some people are saying that this is a mixed bag so far that I've been seeing in the comments. Dr is saying I thought we'd at most playing for the draw. SFXS is saying my reaction was like, of course, right? So, there's a lot of people that were actually considering, yes, that we'd lose.
And what Aria said, we don't lose with Messi. That is literally when I was thinking, when we went down 2-0, I was like, okay, I don't think we'll lose because we just don't lose with Messi. But we don't always win either. We draw with Messi. And that's what I was thinking. I was like, we're going to start this show. And I was going to say, Chris, Aaron's back. And we don't lose with Messi. Yeah. But it's a draw. Like that's what I was thinking. Like, that's where we're going to go. Because I was thinking we're going to have to go for a draw.
I didn't have any fear in my heart. We still had a lot of football left.
Yeah,
but I don't think a lot of football left. And our best half is the second half.
But we had never gone into a half where we won the game down 2-0 this year so far.
Okay.
So a part of me was like, oh, we're going to have to get a draw. That was what I was thinking.
Well, and look, like I said, in the comment section, it's a mixed bag here. There's a lot of people thinking yes, no. A lot of people thought that it'd be a draw. But again, so we end up scoring, luckily, Matias Rojas with a laser, right? Mm-hmm. And then thinking that that's going to be the last goal of the game. And we got, 4 or 5 minutes later, we got that clothesline and leg drop by Luis Suarez right through Lassiter, like if he doesn't even exist.
Rojas scored in the 44th minute, and Suarez scored in the 48th minute.
Yeah. Puts it in the back of the net off of a, I think it had to be like a deflection or like a header deflection off of the corner, of course. Mm-hmm. And then we close it out to 2.5, basically 0-0 to start the second half.
At that point, I was like, "Oh,
at that point, you knew it was in the back."
At that point, when we ended the half, because we were losing 2-0 in the 40th minute, I was like, "Oh no, this isn't good. Maybe we need a draw." And then all of a sudden, 8 minutes later, we're tied. I was like, "We're about to go into halftime. Oh man, we might score 6." Like my mind completely changed when we tied the game before half.
So Kevin is asking, Chris, you think that free kick will be in if Messi took instead of Rojas? It's Messi.
Yeah.
It's Messi. Possible. So, you're assuming that it goes in. I thought that the other free kicks were going to go in too. I thought that the other opportunities that Messi had, Messi had closer opportunities than where Matias Rojas was. No?
This was his first game without a goal contribution this season.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. That's, there goes one of the records, right? There goes one of the records. What is it?
Consecutive goals. He was at 7. And the goal and the record was 15 by Joseph.
Yeah. So, which I'm wearing his little shirt right here. You know what I'm saying? But we went into the half 2-2, right? Fresh new game. You're thinking we're gonna score 6 goals, but then call me crazy when I say that we're gonna score 10 in the whole game, right? We start off the second half And now no substitutions were made, if I remember correctly, by the second half.
Halftime, no.
Now, did you think that there should have been a substitution made, or so far so good? Start off with the same team second half.
Yeah, the way we ended the first half, I thought that we were fine coming in with the same team.
Okay, all right. Yeah, I thought the same. I didn't think that there was any sort of need for a substitution. Tarusha's mentioning Rojas has the energy. Absolutely, he has the energy. He's replacing the literal energy that Diego Gomez had. And the ability
but Diego Gomez is box to box.
Yeah.
Like he'll give you that same effort defensively also. Rojas isn't as defensive minded as Diego Gomez is.
Yeah. And Dennis Lopez is nicknaming Suarez as the big sexy, the new big sexy. Yes, he is. Yeah, hell yeah. So now foreign student is saying that Tata changed the formation for the second half. Did you notice anything off?
Well, I'm curious. Foreign student, do you think that he went to a 4-3-3 at that point? Do you think Matias Rojas playing left up top? Because that's what I thought also. And then Robert Taylor came in and continued to play up top. So I'm wondering if that's what foreign student was thinking.
Well, I did see, like I mentioned earlier in the show, that that Gressel did move. He moved over, especially when I think it was when Taylor came in. I know that there was a point that he ended up moving over to the center instead of the right wing or the right midfield. So I believe, and foreign student is answering you saying yes. So yeah, he agrees. But after that, right? I don't know if I missed anything. If there's anything big that I missed in between the starting of the half and then the goal by Ben Krem. But that goal by Ben Krem, it's not even the goal. That's awesome.
Matias Rojas?
Literally, Matias Rojas started it to Messi, got the ball back, had enough foresight to see that Ben Krem had a step and just lobbed it up in the perfect way for him to sort of take it and do something with it. Obviously, his touch was a little off, but
his touch was off, but he still recovered it and scored.
Still had enough to recover and slide and kick it right past the goalie. Hey, a goal's a goal.
The game winner.
Yeah, it is the game winner. Which
Gressel wouldn't have scored.
Yeah, Gressel wouldn't have got that. He wouldn't have had it. He wouldn't have had this. I don't think that he would have hustled enough, or at least sped up enough to get to that ball. I don't think so.
Yeah.
And a lot of people are saying we need Alba back. You're not the first one that said this, Adarsh. I read somewhere earlier.
Well, Negri didn't have the best game either. You could tell that he's lacking in the offensive prowess that Alba provides. He missed Messi on a pass where Messi was cutting in. There was a chance for him to score one-on-one with the goalie, I believe, and he shanked it. And it ended up being called offside anyway, so it didn't count. But I didn't think that Negri had one of his best games today. A lot of the players, I guess, would say didn't have one of their best games.
Yeah. And I just want to bring this up, Danny. Deadly Dildo is saying, why do you guys only have 65 likes? Not only, I mean, you're on point, Deadly Dildo.
Because only 65 people like us.
Come on, guys. Are there more than 65 people in this 305 live? Ooh, just 305 live. Look at that.
Just because people are here doesn't mean that they like us.
Yeah.
All right. So after that, Robert Taylor came in the 71st minute for Matias Rojas. David Ruiz came in for Kremaki. What did you think of Robert Taylor? Because I thought Robert Taylor showed up. Oh, look. I said some people don't like us, and then we dropped by like 10, 12 viewers.
Nice.
Robert Taylor came in, and I thought that I loved watching Robert Taylor. There was a through ball that I think Busquets led him with, and he bodied somebody like off the ball and then set himself up for a quick strike, and he tried to get it to the back post. Now, it ended up being offside, but the way he physically bodied that guy to get on the ball, the way he takes players on one-on-one, I think that everybody's like, I know that I was talking and playing silly with you, saying, "Oh, bye Robert Taylor," because Matias Rojas is here. Robert Taylor is the perfect super sub. You could put Robert Taylor in, and he is instant energy. He connects well with players. He can create for himself. He can create for others. I really hope that Robert Taylor stays on this team, because the way he creates, I think that's a luxury to have on your bench.
That kind of player coming off the bench with that aggression and that ability to listen. Taylor, aside from, I would say, Suarez and Messi, he's one of the players, especially from like the last team, that has the ability to create. Like he's one of the people that has, one-on-one to be able to create and have the aggression to go after it. Is mentioning Taylor is my fave, excluding Barca boys.
I mean, I think that's how a lot of people feel. I love Robert Taylor, man. I think that he's a baller. I hope that they keep him getting some playing time. I know. Look, I think that he's gonna lose his starting job. And I know we're gonna preview the Orlando game, and I guess we could finish up about this game. I don't know if there's too much else to talk about, but against Orlando, I really hope that they keep Matias Rojas in the midfield, put Kurmaki back on the bench. Matias in the midfield, and have Robert Taylor playing up at left wing.
Well, I'll tell you, I think that Robert Taylor should play as much as he can, because
thank you, Gustavo. Prowess.
He's good. He's going to be gone at some point. He's going to be gone at some point. No, and let me tell you, Hendo is doing a great job of finding the players that Messi and Tata want to play with, and it's making it very hard to be able to give Taylor the time. But Taylor's not out here like playing like a bitch. He's kind of like showing like, I'm still here for this shit. What?
I don't know. I thought it was just a weird way to put it.
I mean, yeah, it is a weird way to put it. It is.
But look, I do love Taylor.
Like really crumbling under the pressure is what I mean.
Yeah. The quintessential not playing like a bitch, I guess.
Yeah, that is not playing like a bitch. So
and look, Yamila says we need Keylor Navas. Is he available right now? Like in the summertime? Maybe. I don't know. I mean, look, I'm a Madrista, so I'm all for Navas, but
well, Adarsh is saying our midfielders were mid today. I mean, but again, let's take a
because they were so offensive minded.
Yeah. And Mr. Krabs is saying that according to FootMob, Kristoff had the worst rating at 6.2.
Yes, he did. And you know who was right after him?
Oh, that's a good.
Well, I was about to say, but I'll let you take a guess.
I would say, don't tell me Taylor.
No. It was actually it was Taylor, but it was. Man, but I was talking about the starting 11. It was your boy Gressel.
Ooh. Mm-hmm. Well, and that's another thing, right? Gressel didn't play great. He didn't play like super bad.
Well, let me just real quick. Tamanin Network. Just real quick. We have the shirts.
No, you're not.
Yeah, we made them last night. We made the Ala Miami and we made the Vizca Miami shirts. They're going to be dropping this week. And if you want a Luis Suarez Pistolero shirt, I got this one. I got it in pink and black also. So visit batteredfans.com. But yes, this week we're dropping the Vizca Miami and the Ala Miami this week. Just keep an eye out for that. What were we saying? I saw that comment and it made me laugh because I forgot that's
Tank. Look, Tank is coming in with a comment saying nobody played bad on either team. Were you watching the same game, Tank? Because like there are a couple people. Go ahead.
I'm gonna tell you what I think really kills us. That we don't have players. That we don't have my player like Matias Rojas in the midfield consistently to kind of push the ball forward with forward attacks. Because when, let's see, Freire gets the ball. What is Freire doing when he gets pressured? He's not taking anybody one-on-one. He's not taking a risky pass. He's going back to Drake. Negri going back to Drake. Gressel, Christoph, all going back to Drake. Like, it's constant balls going back. We got to figure out a way to beat this press in other ways, because giving Drake the ball and the way he clears it when he's pressured is
not good.
Brutal. There was at some point, I think we were still 0-0. Nobody had scored yet. And they passed it back to him and he cleared it. And he like skied it and it landed like right outside the box. Like, it was like, come on, guys. Like, we gotta progress the ball forward. We need Jordi Alba. Jordi Alba helps a lot with the forward attacks. You know, I think Matias Rojas helps also. But
well, like and Cello moves it up a little bit. Cello's not afraid to move it up from what we've seen recently.
Look, Busquets was necessary back there, but again, I think that he was left on an island with the people that were flanking him. But you know, and Solana for some reason is yelling Navas. So I'm all for Navas. I don't know if he's actually gonna be an option, but I would love to get Keylor Navas. And now, Mr. Krabs, I think it's gas bagging time.
Oh, absolutely. Now, again, there was a discussion that we were having that we wanted to save until the end, or we were having at some point in the beginning. I totally forgot what it was. There was something that we wanted to talk about before the end of this podcast. I just don't remember. It just doesn't come up. Now, Florida Man wants to talk about, and I guess this is a good way to end the game since this happened towards the end. Florida Man saying, let's talk about the Suarez and the 10-second sub rule with those knees. I didn't count when the sub happened versus how long it took for him to get to the sideline. But I mean, I'll tell you that it really doesn't help that he takes a long time. So
what do you think about Campana getting in that late in the game?
I mean, I think Tata hates Campana. I think that's it. That's all I got for you. He hates Campana. It's gotten to the point where I think he hates him. He's getting shot this year.
Was Suarez nicked up? I don't know.
He hates Campana
because he could have just let that Suarez walk out the last 5 minutes. Like, did he put him on just to cover for set pieces in those corner kicks? Is that what it was?
That's it. And he barely did that because he sat on the side for like 2 minutes plus. So He hates Campana. So we'll end the show like that, guys. He hates Campana.
Yeah. All right. I think that's about it. I can't imagine we have anything else. We are 13 games into the year. We've only lost 2 games. This is the best start in Inter Miami history. It is our first ever 5-game winning streak. So a lot of positives after tonight. Even though it wasn't the best performance, still a lot of positives. I think that nothing but good things ahead. Because when you look at our schedule coming up, I think we have 5 games before the June 1st St. Louis game. And the reason I bring up the St. Louis game is because I think that's the last game that Messi's going to play with us before he leaves, and everybody leaves to Copa America. So we have Orlando this Wednesday. We have DC United on the next week. Then we have Vancouver the following week. Then we have Atlanta on a Wednesday. And then we have St. Louis. And 3 of the next 5 games are at home. So I know we were saying that if we win the next 6 games, right? Before this game, we said if we win the next 6 games, we end up with 42 points. But, like, is it really that hard to believe that we could win the next 5 games? We played a bad game today. If there was a game that we were going to randomly lose, it could have been today. We still won.
Yeah.
You have Orlando, which is hot garbage. Then you have DC United, which isn't good. You have Vancouver. That's a good team. And we're playing in Canada again. So we'll see how that goes. Then we have a short week when we host Atlanta, but that's a home game. And then we host St. Louis, which hasn't been as good as last year. I'm sorry. I think there's a real chance that we get to those 42 points before Messi leaves. And if we get to 42 points before Messi leaves, we are going to be just fine because we're making the playoffs. We'll make 100%. If you get 42 points by June 1st, you are 100% making the playoffs. 100%. Because that alone, absolutely. You can lose the rest of the games the rest of the year, and you still have a chance to make the 9th seed.
Well, Vinny is asking here, do you guys ship to Canada?
I'm so sorry. I didn't see your question. Chris usually runs the chat, and yes. And if for some reason you're having an issue with that, just send us a direct message on X or Twitter.
And we got you.
Yeah, better.
And we got you, baby. We take care of the Batter fam. Let's go.
But we are making the playoffs, and if we could win the next 5, and we'll be back on Monday with Alex from Lions then to preview the Orlando City game. And it should be fun because we own Orlando. And Orlando did win today.
Who cares?
And it's good. Just because I say we can win the next 5 games, I'm not underestimating. I'm not going to say that we're going to rock everybody 5-6-0 like Chris is. But
it should be a dick kicking everybody.
And Mitch is asking, should we 145 him?
No, he's
Alex
a super
is a cool
nice guy. He's a super nice guy.
And let me tell you something. Before we officially coined it as 145ing somebody, the first time he came on, people were kind of harsh because he put on a
oh yes, I remember a lion, lion mask.
Some people were kind of
look back at our Orlando show.
That was last season, but he's a cool guy. He's a cool guy.
Yeah.
I mean, you could clown on the team and you could clown on him. Just make sure you just keep it. Don't be too bad.
Yeah, don't be too bad, guys. Take it easy.
Yeah. And I don't know why Tank. This is the 3rd time he says 187. What it was? I don't know what 187 is.
Because 187 is to kill someone, like you're getting bodied.
Oh, I thought you were talking about.
You didn't hear it's 187 on another cover cup. That's from.
You got you. Yes.
Snoop Dogg song with Dr. Dre.
Yeah, I like the Big Pun and Fat Joe version better.
Yes, I do like that one better as well. But that's the original.
That in the middle.
Of Little Italy. Little did we know that we went to middlemen who didn't do diddly. Let's go, baby.
All right. I think any final words after wrapping off some Big Pun there?
That's it. Big Pun's the best rapper of all time. If you got a problem with that, go fuck yourself.
All right. And then, like Sean said, be funny, not a-holes. So
yes.
All right. So with that, we are done. Another win, another fun episode. If you are listening on audio, we appreciate you listening all the way to the end. Please leave us 5-star comment, review, all that other good stuff. If you're watching on YouTube, thank you for watching all the way to the end. Please like, subscribe, share, tell your friends. And for those of you in the chat, as always, you guys are the best. We appreciate you. You guys are the best part of the show. Jay-Z is the best rapper of all time. I agree.
No,
but Big Pun is in the top 5, and we can have that discussion. One of our random. We got nothing to talk about, so we'll talk about rappers. We'll do it one of those days. But again, if you're joining us in the chat, we appreciate you. We'll be back on Monday to preview the Orlando City game. So join us for that. So until the next one, have a good one.
Lamar's cooking, baby.